day, listeners and learners, and welcome to the second episode in our series, Let's Learn Economics, a program produced for grade 10, 11, and 12 economics. My name is Mims Low, and I will be your host for this 5-part series, proudly brought to you by NAMCOL and the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture. In today's episode, we will be joining a group of pupils having a very interesting discussion during break time. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to define trade unions and identify the aims of trade unions.
Announcement. Teachers and pupils, please listen to the following. We would like to remind all pupils to please visit the Learners' Representative Office after school to vote for the 2020 LRC Committee. Please remember, it is important. Your vote counts.
Another waste of our time. I'm going straight home after our economics class.
I agree. No voting for me. All those LRCs are just going to look fancy in their LRC's uniforms and boss us around.
Guys, are we going to vote for the LRC candidates?
Guys, settle down. What's going on? Please enter the class. Okay. Can somebody please tell me what the commotion is all about?
Well, miss, we just feel like voting for the new LRC committee is a waste of our time. Nothing good comes from it.
Yes, ma'am. You should see how those LRCs are always showing off in their school uniforms and bossing us around in front of the school gate. They even go on school trips and are literally the teachers' favorite pupils. The teachers don't even listen to us. They would rather call the LRCs.
Okay. I see where the problem lies. Let me explain using our last chapter for the term as a case scenario. There are two different cases, but they've got the same base, okay? It is very important that you remember the LRCs will be representing you when dealing with the school's management. Let's see. Candy, tell me what you know about the trade unions.
Not much, ma'am. I know it has something to do with workers and their bosses and strikes and so on.
That's correct. A trade union is defined as a workers' organization, which represents them in their dealings with the management and employer or owner of a firm.
But what does that have to do with the LRC elections, ma'am?
Well, allow me to explain, Shadi. The aims of trade unions are basically to protect members against unfair dismissals at work, to represent their members during wage negotiations, and to ensure that members get compensated for injuries at work. In this case, imagine you are the members we are referring to here.
But ma'am, trade unions and our LRCs are two different things.
Yet, their goals and aims are similar. When you have to complain about something that is classroom related, like if you want to complain about me not teaching you properly, who do you speak to first?
We would take it up with the class LRC. I see what you mean now, ma'am. Another question, ma'am. Do teachers also have the trade union that represents them?
Yes, Candy. We are represented by the Namibia National Teachers Union. So going back, let's say I'm dismissed unfairly because of your complaint. Then my trade union could represent me to resolve the matter.
Interesting.
Lastly, let's say the two of you happen to have a disagreement now and start a fight in class. Or perhaps someone's belongings go missing. Who is most likely to help solve the problem?
We would call the class LRC, ma'am.
Good. So don't look and think of LRCs as your enemy or as the teacher's favorite students. They are your representatives, just like the words say. They help both teachers and learners.
But, ma'am, why can't I just walk into the principal's office and explain my situation?
Don't you think it would be better if somebody could speak on your behalf? To have somebody accompany you? Someone who knows the rules and regulations. Someone who knows which steps to take when laying a complaint.
Yes, ma'am. I guess it's way better when someone speaks on my behalf.
That's exactly what a trade union aims to do as well. And because trade unions represent workers, meaning people who earn a salary or a wage, they try to ensure that members receive market-related salaries and fringe benefits, and to advise and encourage the government to strive towards democracy, freedom, and justice for all. So, these are some of the aims of a trade union.
This was a very interesting discussion, ma'am. It changed my whole perspective on LRCs. Having LRCs at school is like having our very own school-based trade union, which is so cool.
Yes, I must agree. It's cool to have a group who wants what's best for us. I'm going to vote after your class, ma'am.
That's good, Candy. Please explain to us what you have learned today.
Ma'am, I've learned that the trade union is a workers' organization which represents workers in their dealing with the management and owners of a firm. Some of the aims of the trade unions are to protect their members against unfair dismissal at work, to represent their members during wage negotiations, to ensure members get compensated for injuries at work, to ensure members receive market-related salaries and fringe benefits, and to advise and encourage the government to strive towards democracy, freedom, and justice for all.
Listeners, I hope you have enjoyed this discussion. Time for the question of the day. Explain and discuss the different types of trade unions. Please ask your parents to help you. And this brings us to the end of today's lesson. I hope you have enjoyed the topic. Join us for our next lesson where we will discuss exchange rates.
This program was brought to you by NAMCOL with funding from the Ministry of Education, Arts and Culture and the Commonwealth of Learning.